Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly, presented by Whiskerware Apparel. Along with Doc Lang, I'm Lyle Stokes, and welcome to the show tonight. Doc, it's been pretty warm in Missouri. I don't know how you guys are in Ohio. The water's high. The lakes are high. Fishing's still been pretty good if you can find a place to get in, but it's just kind of a miserable time right now.
It's been beautiful here in the Buckeye State today. I got up this morning. It was like 66 degrees. And it got up to 72, 73 today. It was just a beautiful day. Tomorrow's supposed to be really nice. So, and then the rain
we've been getting
back.
We've been getting tons and tons of rain. We haven't been fishing since a couple weeks ago tomorrow, and it's just been pretty rough. All the rivers are high and flooded, and the lakes are high. Some of the ramps local close to us are closed, and it makes it very difficult to be able to get out and enjoy yourself. But the guys that are getting out are catching fish, so that makes it pretty nice. We was talking before the show. We was out a couple weeks ago and done a little fishing. I got sunburned pretty bad. I went out and mowed the yard today. We're having to mow the yard just about twice a week now, and got another sunburn, so I can't wait to nurse through this damn thing. But, it is what it is, and we'll manage to get through there. We got some quite a bit of stuff to go over tonight, Doc, but there's something that I want to talk about right now before we get started. A fellow fisherman and one of the good guys in the sport named David Woods, house burnt last night. And I talked to David today. David lives in Ethel, Mississippi, and he has helped everyone that ever went to Wheeler Lake when he was there or any place else that he was ever at. He's one of the truly good guys. He woke up in the middle of the night and he heard a bunch of cracking and popping. He noticed the house was on fire. He grabbed what he could grab and run out the door. Was intending on coming back in and getting some more, but he couldn't get it. And whatever he could hold in his two hands is all that survived with the house. And he lived in the house that his grandfather grew up in. So we've been in the family for a long time. He lost everything. I've seen some of the pictures. It's devastating. If anybody can help him in any way, send him some clothes. I'm sure that David would accept money donations, but he lost all his clothes, his socks, his shoes, anything that you use every day that you live with, he no longer has. And like I say, one of the truly nice guys, if there's anything anybody can do to help him out, I actually, if you'll give me just a second, I can tell you the size clothes and stuff that David wears. I will get it here in just one moment. Please bear with me. This is really important that we get this right. He wears extra large shirts, an 11 wide shoe, 36, 34 pants, so I'm assuming jeans and stuff like that. But anything that anybody can do to help David, I know he would appreciate it. He did tell me that his boat was either in the garage or by the house. He got it out. I don't know about equipment with that. But as far as anything to live with, he does not have anything. He lost it all. Anybody that can help him in any way, I know that David would greatly appreciate it, and I would appreciate it personally also, and I know everybody else would. There's a lot of people that's doing stuff to try to help him. But, Matt Jones up in Northern Illinois can help anybody that's trying to figure out a way to get stuff to David. He's doing some of that stuff, trying to get it set up. So anything that anybody can do to help him would be greatly appreciated. He needs all the assistance we can get him. He's one of our brothers that's in the sport for the right reasons. So anybody can help him, please do so.
Well, if anyone in the Kansas City area has got stuff, they can get a hold of me and we'll put something together for them.
That's outstanding. Thank you so much, Tim. I appreciate it. Doc, we have Tim Berger on with us tonight. Tim has the tournament trail, All American Catfishing. If I'm correct with this, Tim, it's out of Kansas City, Kansas. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
Right. Now, you just started this not very long ago, and it's really taken off. You guys are doing great things up there.
Well, yeah, we got started this year, started kind of late, and it's kind of a lot of debate whether it was going to start or not. Brad had Kansas City Catfish, and last year when he announced that he was going to retire at the tournament, a lot of the guys came up and asked if I was going to take it over for him. And I worked with Brad for a while for the rest of the year, kind of talking about it. That was his baby there. You know, he was Kansas City Catfish. So we decided to start new. And so we started new, and to do it, I wanted to kind of do it a little bit more deliberate. I just didn't want to just throw something together and start it on a weekend. So I reached out to people like you, people around Kansas City, asking about rules, what's some of the best practices around the tournaments, things I knew from being in Brad's tournaments and whatnot. But I really wanted to get other fishermen's perspective of what they thought would make a great tournament. And then, like talking with you, seeing where it's going, where the sport's going, where and how we can kind of dovetail into that. You know, start off fresh, don't have any bad habits, kind of pick the experts' brains. And so we put it together and started getting it going in April.
It's really taken off. Yeah, it has. It's really taken off well. I know a lot of guys are excited about what you're doing up there. I'm very excited for you. I'm glad to be able to help you with some stuff and give you ideas. And what I tried to do was give you things that I knew was successful for us. And if they work for you, great. And if not, then you'd have to look into other things. But I know that you contacted a lot of other guys, and that's the correct way to do it, to make sure you get things set up and going the way it needs to be done. And that's a great area to hold tournaments over there. The fishing has been really good over there the last few years, and I think that there's a world of opportunity for you to run a quality tournament over there. And I look for you to have a big deal. And it looks like you guys are having pretty much monthly tournaments right now, I think.
That's right. We and we do want to get to where we do have that big tournament, you know, at least once a year, where people from a lot of different states come around. I mean, a lot of people are heading to Lake of the Ozarks, or people head up north. But Kansas City is easy access. The facility that we're having at Cobb Point, so you got the Kansas River. So you have 3 points of travel from launch. You can go down the Missouri, up the Missouri, or up to Kansas. And we have a hard building to host things in. It's great parking there, easy access in and out of it. So that it is something we can grow. There's a lot of good fish here, a lot of different varieties of fish. You got your channels, you got your flats, you got your blues, and they're big. It's big fish water. And
right.
So that should bring
everybody likes to hear, big fish water.
Definitely is. And there's a lot of great guys out here. I mean, that's why I did it. Is there's a lot of great guys in the Kansas City area that fish, and they travel. You know, I mean, they just are, and they really help shape it. You know, like I talked a lot with Joel Roberts, Justin Clare, Justin Thornton, you know, John Traeger, a lot of Brad Kilpatrick himself. I'm leaving some guys off, I know, but sure. There's just a lot of guys I ask and pick their brains of what works and what we need to do to grow this thing. So we're really trying to get some good attention this year and try to turn it into something big in the Kansas City area. And at the same time, we don't want to step on other guys' tournaments. There's some other established tournament series in the area, and we try not to have our tournaments on their weekends. If they're having theirs, so if they have one scheduled, and I've changed mine earlier this year a couple times, just because I initially scheduled one, and then someone will say, "Hey, there is this other one," because I'll ask, "Here's what we're looking at having a tournament." When we were doing our schedule on this particular weekend, someone will come back and say, "Well, Twisted Cats is having theirs, or Catfish Chasers having theirs that weekend too." We scratched ours. We're not going to steal boats away from them, not deliberately. You know, if we intentionally do, then can't really control that. But there's plenty of water around here. There's a lot of fish, and we don't have to step on each other's tournaments. You know, we should be able to support them as far as I look at it.
That's exactly right. We're getting a little bit of feedback from you, Tim. You might want to turn your volume down just a little bit.
All right.
I had a little argument with a guy the other day. It didn't really amount to nothing. Actually, a pretty good friend of mine. But, there's no reason really to schedule dates. If you're in the same area, you try to work around each other, and everybody works hand in hand and makes that happen. It works out. Big tournaments should not try to schedule on the same day, because I'm going to tell you, I want to go to all the big tournaments. I want to go to some of the little tournaments too, but it's just a better way. It's more professional if it's done that way. And, it is what it is. When it happens, you can't miss them all. I don't care who you are.
That's right.
You cannot miss them all. You can't. But we always tried to do something where it wasn't within the 200 or 300 mile range. That way, people, because we used to run in smaller tournaments, but the big tournaments, there's no reason for that. There's 52 weeks a year. You can miss those dates, and nobody has to. It's not that the tournaments, the directors are doing anything wrong. It's the guys. Everybody wants to fish those big tournaments. I don't care who you are.
That's
You
right.
want to fish them. I do. I want to fish them all. I want to go to Mississippi River Monsters. I want to go to Monster in Ohio. I'd love to go over and fish the one they have in Indiana. But something always falls in the way, and I don't get to go over there. But one of these days it's going to happen, and I'll get to make it work. But there's just no sense. There's just silliness, and people think that it's not. And another guy says, well, you don't know about the fishermen in Kansas City. I fish against all the guys. I've known them for years. Some of the best fishing people in the world are west of the Mississippi, and some of the toughest competition you'll ever fish with. If you think that you can beat Roger and Marty Gerloff and Joe Roberts and John Jameson and those guys that fish in that Kansas City area on a regular basis, man, you better think again, because they don't come any tougher than Brett Riddles and guys like that. I mean, those guys are they're outstanding people. They got quality equipment. They know how to catch fish, and they know how to take your money, and they're good at it.
And they're dedicated to it. I mean, they are just not fishermen. They also help, like with me with the tournament, they're also giving advice. They're helping out new people.
Sure.
They're building the sport up. I mean, and they put their time in on the water too. That's what makes them so competitive. They pay their dues.
That's right. A lot of them been fishing. John Jameson and the Gerloff boys, Brent, them guys have been fishing tournaments for as long as I can remember. And I know I've been fishing tournaments 25 years. And some of them guys have been fishing them that long. John Jameson's been fishing tournaments virtually forever. One of the biggest names in the sport. If you're competing against John Jameson, you're competing against the best there is. I mean, he's one of the top guys in the thing. Justin Cook is another one that I had forgotten. Bo Brockman. I mean, there's a ton of them that live from in west of Mississippi. There's a lot of guys, and there's a lot of them in the St. Louis area the same way that are they're just tough. I don't care. You got to compete against them guys, and they're the same if you fish with them in Alabama or you fish with them in Kansas City. You still got to beat them. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah, you still got to get out there. You got to get on the water, and you got to put your time in. And that's the good thing about this location. There is a lot of top fishermen, but the fish are the same. You're going to be in the same water as them and the same conditions as them. And so someone
Right.
and that's the other thing about our tournament is we're really trying to target new tournament fishing guys. So one thing we talk about them. We talk the guys on Facebook. We'll chat with them. If they don't know the rivers, that's fine. They can jump on one of our boats and we'll run them up the river and show them the channels and what to watch out for, and kind of get them oriented to the area and get to know them a little bit and make them feel comfortable at the tournament. And that's one of the things we do is the tournament is we try to make it a friendly environment. When the guys sign in, we have cold drinks for them. Nothing major, just Gatorade and water and snacks for them, so they can, while they're sitting there, they're not dipping in their own ice chest, getting drinks out that they're going to need all night.
Right.
So and they stand around and talk and eat snacks.
And I'm glad to hear that you are doing things like that, because Doc, I know you can relate to this. When we started fishing tournaments years and years ago, you didn't get much assistance from a lot of people.
No, everybody was pretty much clamped.
That's it.
Nobody told you anything.
That's right. You showed up to a tournament in a strange place, you might know some guys and you might go for visiting with them, but they wasn't offering anything, and you never dared ask them anything for fear they get offensive about it in those days. But times have changed, and they changed for the better. Everybody now is willing to help the next guy, and Joel Roberts is one when it comes to example, really quick to me. We hadn't fished the Brunswick area ever before. He spent the afternoon visiting with Cindy and I up there last year at that tournament. And we really didn't get a very long period of time to get out on the water before that tournament. And we sat there and talked to Joel, and he didn't give no specific spots. He said, well, here's what I'm looking for. And that it was basically what we found. But 20 years ago, you wouldn't have got that at all.
Right. Yeah. I parked right next to you at Brunswick last year when you guys were talking.
Well, was you now?
Yeah.
I'll be darned. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't remember so much of the stuff that, we spend a lot of time visiting with people and things. But yeah, that was a great tournament. It's going to be a great tournament this year too. I'm really excited about getting up there. We're going to do a show and that Calcutta they have up there is an amazing event, and I'm really wound up about that. I think that it's going to absolutely be a blast. And we're going to have a lot of fun up there, so it's going to be really good. Doc, you got anything you want to visit with Tim about?
Are most of your tournaments at night, or are they during the day too?
So that's good. So we good question. We initially started leaning kind of heavy on the nights, and that's because a lot of the guys on the day were working Saturdays, and so we went heavy on the nights, and then we added some more tournaments that were day tournaments. So this year, a little bit heavier on nights. We do have some day tournaments scheduled. Next year, we're really going to split that up. Earlier in the spring, we'll have day tournaments. And then as it gets hot, move them to nights, and then go back in the fall again, back to day.
What's your average of boats that shows up?
Well, so we're just getting started, so we don't have a very good average right now.
Oh, okay.
But I think this next one, being a national qualifier, it's getting a lot more attention. I think we're going to have a good amount of boats there. We're looking forward. We're going to have breakfast in the morning after the tournament for the guys there, so they all wanted biscuits and gravy, and so that food always attracts people.
Attracts me.
So we're this next one coming up. We're advertising different places, and I think we're going to do okay. We're going to have a pretty large draw, which will be nice.
That's awesome.
Robert posted here. He said, Tim, please make live release a priority.
Yes, definitely. Good point. And it is. Next year, if we can get it, I want to, where we're having the weigh-ins it's up in the parking lot there. When I want to try to get it closer to the river a little bit. And so we got to kind of look at the logistics on that, because we don't want to bottleneck at the top of the boat ramp or anything. And we'll try to get a slide in there, something to keep the fish weighed and right back in the water. Right now, these guys, they know what they're doing, so we have a pretty quick turnaround when they bring fish to weigh and then back in the river really quick. So it's a live release.
Yeah. So you guys you don't trailer any. You just launch out of one ramp and then you go.
That's right. Yeah, we're trying to eliminate the trailer in there.
Yeah, good deal.
It's a large enough parking area, and the ramps got a good drive down, so it can hold a lot of boats. It's a pretty large area. We work with the Unified Government of Kansas City to reserve Caw Point there, and they have a building there. So we pay our fee, get our permit. It's reserved for us. They open the doors for us and help us accommodate it. And we have someone we work with, and she schedules all our events through the city there and make sure it's on their calendar, so we don't have to deal with a lot of competition for the parking and whatnot. So that's good. She's
cool.
got us locked in for next year for all our events too already. So
awesome. Yeah, there you go. Good deal.
Yep. So when they were asking the question about the live, were they talking about Catch and Release Live or Facebook Live?
No, Catch and Release Live.
Okay. Yep.
One of our sponsors, Survivor, that's on the banner behind me, he's real big on it. This unit he's got really makes a big difference in the fish. So
yeah. Yep.
Tom Wakefield just posted, it's a 150-foot walk from the way into the ramp, so that's not bad at all.
No, that's not. They've walked a lot further.
Well, there's a
fish a time or two.
We want to get a little bit closer if we can for the guys.
Heck yeah. Yep, you bet. If Doc and I was coming up there every day, we'd need you to help us get it to our truck.
Yeah, we'd have to have that O2 on.
150 feet is not bad. One of the funnest tournaments that I ever fished was up at Cat's Incredible. And it's a little bitty old river on that Red River up there. And we was taking coolers and putting coolers in the fish in the cooler and then carried them up the live well. And for Cindy and I to do that, that's a little tough, you know. But that's what they have up there, and you just do what you got to do. It's a lot of fun to fish that tournament, but I ended up going and getting of course, it's all channel cat, so I just went and got a big cooler with wheels on it and bought it, and took our fish up that way, and then ended up leaving the cooler sitting there by the fence, and called Brad Durick up on our way home. I said, hey, run over and grab that cooler. It's brand spanking new. You might as well take it home because I left her sitting there.
Well, we've got these garden carts, the little totes with the wheels on it and the big handle.
Right.
So we got a bunch of those, and you can throw some good fish in those things and wheel them down. That makes it a little bit easier on the guys. But again, like I said, you come up at the boat access, you can pull right in front of the building too. So the guys with big fish generally just do that, and they pull right back down there and release the fish.
How many fish do you guys weigh in?
Oh, good. Another good question. So this year, we're doing 5, and we one of the things we do is we have polls on our Facebook page. So we'll ask a question to kind of to see what the crowd's feeling like. So this year we looked at it, and a lot of guys selected 3 fish, but some of the bigger arguments were for 5 fish. They didn't have enough votes on it, but they had the larger presence on the discussion of 5 fish. So I said, no problem. We can go with 5 fish this year, and we'll go ahead and keep the stats of what's being weighed in and what's winning the tournament. And I think what they're going to be able to see is at the end of the year, it really narrows down to 3 fish. And I'm looking at some of the other leaderboards and things like that for other tournaments. And I think the argument can be made 3 fish can win the tournament. It's during the hotter months, especially, I think it's easier to keep alive 3 fish than 5 fish in some of these live wells. Yeah. And some of these guys are new to the tournament series, so they're building their live wells and they're going through that learning curve right now. So we don't want to put more stress on fish than we don't have to. So this year we're going to stick with our 5. Next year we're going to drop it to 3, and keep going that way. And that was that was recommended, and we almost did. I almost pulled the trigger and went with the 3 this year. I said, but for some, it's going to be a big culture change. Let's just stick with the 5. We'll talk about it throughout the year, socialize it, show some stats at the end of the year, and we'll go with the 3 next year. And I think it'll be a lot more welcoming that way.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I would encourage you, Tim, is once you set a rule into effect, no matter what rule it is, whether it's 3 fish or 5 fish, or if it has to do with weigh-in or whatever it is, once it's in play for a year, I would recommend wait until the end of the year before you evaluate and do any changes, because changing stuff in the middle of the year always gets people aggravated.
Yeah.
And change it before the beginning of the next year, and everybody's always happy.
Yep, and that's exactly the plan. And you gave me that advice before too, and it rings true. And I can point to an example. Brad had one of his tournaments last year. You know what, I want to say it was the Brunswick one, as a matter of fact. But it was one of his tournaments, and someone got there, traveled out of town, got there pretty late and everything. But his rule was pretty clear. You had to be there at a certain time for the meeting, the captain's meeting. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, and those guys just overlooked it, and they missed the timeline. He could have just thrown the rules out and said, yeah, these guys can go in there. He stuck to the rules, didn't change it. And one time since then, him and I were talking, and he kind of brought that up. And I asked him, so why don't you have a late option for letting people in? And he said, well, probably, you know, if I do this, keep doing this, I'll take a look at it. But the rules are already out there this year, so I'm not going to change it.
Right.
So,
That's
you know,
a good idea.
And then that was a good deal for that. So this time we built that in there. We built the based on that scenario alone, we built in that we have a late launch for our tournament. So you have an initial launch, safety briefing and everything else. Then we launch everybody. And then 2 hours later is our late launch. So people traveling, they have a trailer issue and miss the initial launch, they can still launch. It's just going to be 2 hours later. And then they can launch after that. We'll just brief them up and get them going. But we put that in the rules now because that example of not changing rules is why it wasn't implemented for some other tournaments in the past. So I agreed. I'm not going to change them. And everyone kind of knows that already. We've said it a few times on the page is the rules in place this year, we're not changing anything. We'll take a look at it next year.
Yeah, and I think that's the best way to do it. And I think that you'll find a lot happier people throughout doing it that way. And unless sometimes you got to change stuff, you know, say like right now, I know Alex had to cancel a tournament last weekend out Cape Girardeau. That's a safety factor. When safety factors come on, that's not the same as changing a substantial rule. And I believe I told you, I think that one of the rules that should be in effect nationwide is that if your boat is equipped with a kill switch, it should be a rule that is fastened and PFDs on, life jackets on when you leave the boat ramp. Now, you can't make people do it once you're out of their sight, but they should all have to wear those at takeoff. And it's just a safety thing. It doesn't take but a second to put that on. It only takes a minute to put the life jackets on. And Cindy is always on me because I dearly hate them. I really do. And I know if I get in the water with my shoulder, there's a chance I can't get out. You know, it really is.
Yeah.
But I don't like to wear them. And I never wore them in my whole life. I'm 60 years old, but that doesn't mean it's a smart thing to do. And it's really not. A guy should wear them. And I know Doc wears his religiously. I think that's outstanding. And I'm going to push to be better at it. I'm not saying I'll ever get to the point where Doc's at, but I'm going to push to try to be better.
Well, they make a lot more comfortable ones nowadays versus 10 years ago.
That's right.
Yeah, the inflatable ones are really good. The one I wear is a Mustang, and it's real comfortable. Most of the time, I don't even know I've got it on.
Yeah, and that's what you want, right?
But it's there. Yeah, but I'm old. If I fall over the side, somebody throw me a line of rope. You know, just give me some mono and let me tie it to my toe, and I'll fish for the catfish like a float going down the river.
Yeah.
Jason Huggins says even the $30,000+ boats have 50 to 70 a gallon live wells in a lot of them, and he's right, they do, and you need oxygen in them, and a lot of people don't have that kind of boat. A lot of the boats that we make today, and that was one of the reasons why we went to 3 fish rule, because a lot of the boats just don't have a live well that could withstand 3 giant fish, much less 5 big fish. So in some areas it makes sense if you're fishing, say Lake of the Ozarks or up in the Iowa pools above Keokuk, where they're all channel cats, and I love them channel cat tournaments. A 5 fish limit's not out of line up there, because unless you just happen to hit one of the big flatheads, it's pretty much a channel cat tournament, so you don't need a giant live well for 5 channel cat. Yeah. But then again, as long as it's changing out water, you have some way of filtering the crap out of it, you should be fine.
Yeah, and so the benefit of us having it at the location we are, besides the 3 directions you can go, we're there all night. We have a facility, hard structure facility. We stay there all night, so we can weigh fish all night. So if someone comes by in a smaller boat, and again, we're trying to attract a lot of new tournament guys who aren't built up yet. They catch a nice fish, they can bring it in and not put the stress on it, so they can bring it in and get weighed, and we'll give them their receipt for it. But that's nice about that area, because like I said, a lot of these guys don't have it. They're in smaller boats. They're fishing upper Kansas River and stuff, so they have smaller boats without the big live wells in them. They're not going to handle that many fish at once. So they get a couple fish, they can come in and weigh, and we'll take care of them, send them on their way that night.
Yeah.
That's an outstanding policy. Every tournament pretty much every tournament does have that, but if they don't, they should. I got to share something with you. I got a message from a good friend of mine, Cliff Miller, lives just inside over in Illinois, just below Keokuk there. He said that he bought one of the inflatables, and he don't even know that he has it on. Said he's drove halfway home before he realized he was still wearing it. It's his best $100+ he ever spent. Now that's a great tribute to these life jackets and how comfortable they are.
So when he goes to get gas, the store is wondering, what does he know that they don't know?
Yeah.
That's exactly right. No, thanks for sharing that with us, Cliff. That's pretty cool. But yeah, you know, these ones that we got at Bass Pro Shop. I'm not sure. I think they're Bass Pro brand, but very comfortable. It's just a mind thing that you don't wear them. But I know Doc wears his all the time.
Yeah, and the guys out here, they're good at reminding. You talk about it at the safety brief before they launch. Guys remind each other, you know, when they get in their boats and they start lining up. You know, so it's good. It's a good practice around here. These guys watch out for each other. So that's good too.
It is, and we was at the Lake Ozark tournament, and Cindy reminded 2 or 3 boats at the takeoff to put them on because, like she told them, she said if you have to have the wind and weight and somebody complains and you get disqualified because you didn't wear your life jacket, it's a rule.
Yeah.
So put it on. You know, if you haven't even taken off yet, and you go out and fish all day and you catch 100 pounds of weight, and the next closest weight's 20, you're going to be upset because somebody will bring it up. So there's no sense taking that risk.
Well,
and it's a good idea.
Last year, those bass guys, the bass boat, something happened with their steering cable or something like that. It became disconnected, and it launched them out of the boat. They were streaming live when it happened, or videotaping it when it happened.
Yes.
Wow.
And when they went over, and you know, and that was a rude awakening for everybody. I think right then that was a reminder. You know.
I agree. Doc, do you have some more stuff for Tim?
No, I think that's pretty much covered everything.
Okay.
I was looking at some of the questions, and he already answered what was on YouTube.
Okay. Tim, on these tournaments, are they all out of call point there?
No, we're going to try to get out to Milford. In fact, I got to call up those. I've tried following up those guys a few times, locking in Milford. A lot of guys like Milford Lake. So we're going to get some Milford in for the guys. That's a little bit of a drive for them, a couple hours, but it's good fishing. Milford's got some big fish in it.
Yes, it does.
And so we're going to go out there. I just got to lock that in. I'll try to lock that in this week. And then, but Cop Point is where we're trying to do it. We're trying to attract some more attention around the weigh-ins, and we advertise in Kansas City Star and things like that online and on the events. We want people to come out there. We want them to bring their kids, grandkids out there and see this, and kind of introduce the sport to the guys in the next generation. You know, keep it going. And Cop Point's a good facility for that. It's easy to get to. It's got a great scenery, the skyline in Kansas City there, and most people don't realize how prime this fishing is right downtown. And like I said, you got the different routes you can go, and that's another thing they're just not aware of in this area. It's a good secret, but we want to grow it.
Sure. I actually feel bad to say this, but it's the truth. I've never been to Call Point and put a boat in the water. I've never fished downtown Kansas City. It's not that far from us. It's just scheduling with all the stuff that we do always seems to get in the way from one place to the other. We fished some of Brad's tournaments when he was doing them over there, but we never got to the Kansas City area. I know zero about it, but most of the places we go out of, when we get there, I've never been to them before. So yeah, that's not really a big issue. But I know that I've seen some of the pictures those guys that partake at night of that Kansas City skyline, just absolutely knockout gorgeous.
Yeah, it's great. It's great fishing. And, you know, if they hit the Missouri, it's just a few minutes before they're out of city limits anyways. And they're out in the, you know, dark areas. You know, they're out in the country more, and head up north, and you're St. Joe, whatnot, Leavenworth. I guess it goes a little bit of a drive, but Leavenworth's up further, Parkville. Then head downriver too. But it's good.
On your tournaments, is there any restrictions on how far these guys can take their boats?
No, we didn't. Didn't do that because some of these guys they'll carry the bigger tanks and they'll head up river and go pretty far, and so there's a good distance between boats there, and gives a lot of opportunity for people to fish. So we try not to congest them all in the same area.
Right.
So
go ahead, Doc.
The night tournaments, what are they? 12 hours long or 8 hours? How long?
14 hours.
14 hours. Oh, whoa.
So I'm gonna have to have a nap in that deal.
Serious. Oh, man.
So here's why is just as we just talked about. There's 3 routes they can go, and in a few minutes you get out of the city. Well, we want the guys to have good 12 hours of fishing, right? So let them travel for half hour, 45 minutes to get to where they want to go, up or down river, and then get their 12 hours in. And since we're there all night, they can have the tournament go 14 hours, or they can let it go 8 hours if they want. Come in and weigh up.
Yeah.
It's on them, but we give them the max amount of time to travel and fish, get their 12 hours in fishing at least. That's the goal anyway.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's pretty nice. One of the things that I've noticed, and I tried to tell people, a lot of the weigh-ins are at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning on night tournaments. And people that's put out the money to help these tournaments along, your sponsors, they want as much exposure to not only the people in the tournaments and the weigh-in. When you have a real early weigh-in like that, or in the middle of the night, you don't get much of a crowd there. And doing your sponsors a disservice. They need to be the way where you can maximize their exposure, because they're the ones that's giving you the prizes and the money and putting all this stuff out. So you need to help them guys all you can and get them all the exposure you can. And if you have a big enough tournament where, say, a TV crew or a radio station would come down and do a live remote, they'd much rather come out at 9 o'clock in the morning than they would at 2 or 3 in the middle of the night, or even 6 in the morning.
Right.
So there's a lot of reasons to have a later weigh-in.
Yeah, and that's something, probably I didn't ask enough questions around sponsoring when we were setting this up, because that is one thing I did not factor in. I just didn't. And to be honest, sponsors did come up when we were setting this thing up, and we definitely want sponsors. But we were so focused on conservation rules, what rules we need to be in place to keep the fish alive and keep them out there, and then what's going to make the tournament fun but safe also. So we put a lot of emphasis around those, and I didn't factor in sponsors, just like you mentioned. They want that, they're supporting us, and we want them to continue to support us. We got to get them, take care of them just like we do our fishermen, because they're taking care of us already. So that's where we added the day tournaments in, so we can get some more bigger crowds there. We actually, the morning one, we did have some people there don't fish, just so people came to see the weigh-in themselves. We will stream those live. That's why I was asking about the Facebook Live earlier. We will stream those live. But for the national qualifiers, we are trying to get some media. I've sent some contacts out, try to get some media there to go ahead and televise those live. But right now we don't have a lot of sponsors, so but with the ones we do have, we need to take care of.
That's 100% correct. That's right. I talked to a gentleman today about us doing another, and I know Doc is so far for you, but we're going to do another live Catfish Weekly show at another event, and I'll be talking about that later. But this is something that we're going to be doing a lot more of. People seem to like it, do shows, and we'll help them with weigh-ins and different things. And, all that stuff factors into getting your name out there. And from what you got from where you started, you started with nothing. I think you're doing an outstanding job, and I look for great things to come out of Kansas City. But like I say, them guys from, say, Chillicothe West, they're ate up with catfish tournaments. They really are, And a prime example is the Brunswick tournament. It is a big deal for that area. It's too much fun. Anybody that's ever been there and sees that Calcutta and how that little community gets behind that tournament is unreal. It really is.
Fishermen out there.
They sure do. And they appreciate the fact that you're coming in there. And the surrounding towns is the place that has the motels. And they appreciate it too. They give you discounted rates. Make sure that anything that you need, all you got to do is tell them and they'll help you out. And this is all it is. Hey, Robert with Survivor just put a thing up in our chat. Says, Tim Berger, call us for sponsorship. There you go, big boy.
Hey, thanks, Robert. We will be calling you here in about.
Robert is you can't go wrong. Yeah, he's got a great product. He's one of his show sponsors. He helps Doc and I out personally. He's doing a lot of good things for the catfishing industry, and he'll be a good working relationship. You both will enjoy it. So that's really cool. Welcome, Danny Cow. I'm sorry you're late, but we're glad to have you. Dieter Melhorn is on, and he says it is hard to get TV and newspaper coverage too, and he's right. It is hard, but some of the smaller areas, the outlying places will send reporters down to do live things and take stories. I've done interviews. I've done live interviews on radio shows as far as Marshall, Missouri, when we was having tournaments in Jeff City.
Yeah.
So they're aware. They know what's going on, and I was always glad to do that because any exposure you could get, the more of it you could get, the better.
Yeah.
It all helps, and it's all worthwhile. It's all worth it. It does.
Kansas City, we're going to do our best to get some of the bigger stations come out there and at the weigh-ins and whatnot. But one thing about Kansas City, it's a huge town, but it's like a small town, so it's and that's how it is. And so it's not as difficult to get the local media to come out to the smaller events because they do advertise. They really push those things. They really try to get people in Kansas City made aware of all the events that are happening around in the area. So that's
good. That's good. Yeah. Jason Huggins says, plug those sponsors often. It's one of the biggest things that he hears. And that's very true. Any sponsor that you have, they're happy to see their name in front of the public, even the fishermen, because if they're not using their product, maybe they should be.
Yeah.
It's just a quality thing. And catfishing's not like bass. We have anchors and we have anchor ropes and we have rods and reels and hooks and sinkers and a select number of things, but we don't come up with a new fishing lure every other week from 25 different companies that we can snag on a sponsorship from. And so when you get one, it's so important that you do what you can to keep them with you, because if they're gone, then you got to fill that void someplace or be without it. And like you say, they're pretty important to catfish tournaments.
Yeah, I believe, and I agree with you. It's when we started this, I probably didn't. I'm going to say I didn't look at it strongly enough. We were focused really on the fishing aspect of it all. And it's new to us, So we took this year. We said we'll take our lumps and we'll go. But the sponsors we do have, they're great guys, and they're and we'll be calling Robert right after this.
You guys will get along fine. He's a great guy, and you guys will do wonderful things together. And I'm sure that he will help you.
That'll be great. We're looking for. We gotta get you up here sometime. I know you're booked. You guys are real busy, but we have to get you up here sometime, even if it's not a tournament. Come up for a weekend or something like that. We'll get out on the water.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll try to make some of them up there. I know I made my schedule out in December, so that was before I knew that you was doing this. But if we get a chance, or we're rained out or flooded out someplace, we'll try to get up there and get involved with some of that stuff, because we want to help you all we can, any way we can. As with all the tournaments, all the reputable tournaments, we want to do everything we can to promote them. So keep us informed, and if we can help you post events to get more people involved and get your results, be sure and send them to us. And that goes for everybody else, because like I've said, Doc and I don't have time to go through the internet and search to see who had a catfish tournament and where the results are at, but we will. Yeah, we try, but you just can't do it. But if you'll get them to us, we'll be sure and talk about it and tell the world about it, and we'll go through so many as we can. I've got some that I tried to print out tonight and can't, so we're going to switch off back and forth here pretty soon so I can get time to look them up where they inbox me and they won't print for whatever reason, but we'll do that. And Tom Wakefield says you need a polygraph sponsor. Man, that would be a home run.
Well, I tell you,
if somebody could come up with a polygraph sponsor, that would be a home run.
So there's a couple groups I was corresponding with pretty heavily. That's just a sore subject right now. Those polygraphs. Oh man. So
They are.
I'm just going to drop that one.
Yeah, well, they're not 100%, but nothing is.
Yep.
They're the best that we have, and it's something that should be done as often as you can. Now, sometimes it's small tournament trails getting started. Sometimes it's not feasible to do that. Everybody understands it. But if they are subject to a polygraph, so that way, if there is something that comes up, then you have to do it. And it's a shame to have to hold
the enforcement guys and explain to them the dilemma we're facing with this polygraphs. They're more than willing to give us a hand anytime we need it.
Good.
So
that's outstanding. Yep, that is good. Well, Tim, thank you so much for joining Doc and I on the show tonight. If there's anything we can do to help you, be sure and let us know. And if you want to tell the world about your tournaments and all the stuff that you got going and where the location's at and phone numbers and website things and any of your sponsors, feel free to take all the time that you need to do that.
Okay. So again, thanks for having us, Lyle and Doc. Appreciate it. You guys have been helping us since before we announced we were going to do the tournaments, helping us shape things up with your experience. And it's great that the catfish community has people like you, that someone like me starting a tournament from scratch can reach out to you and get this kind of input and advice and experience and develop it the right way. So I do appreciate it.
Good deal.
And I appreciate all the guys that help me here locally, Kansas City guys. I do appreciate them. I tell them all the time. But it's All American Catfish. You can go online to our website, All American Catfish. On Facebook, it's All American Catfish Tournaments. It's a group. Hit us on there, and our rules are there. Our schedule's on there. Our next one's June 10th in Kansas City, Top Point. And it's the national qualifier for the Catfish Weekly Championship. Our sponsors, one of the sponsors is a fisherman you guys might know, Justin Thornton Payton.
Great guy.
He's thrown in $150 per event for us for the fishing, and then he's stepped up to challenge, and he's throwing in $1,000 to anybody that breaks a record, state record, during one of our tournaments. His company will throw that in there. So, and you see the fish have been caught this year. Joel's in the 90s, John Traeger's 96. There's big fish out here.
You betcha.
I think Justin Thornton's going to be coughing up that money this year. Justin Thornton Payton, big. He's helped us a lot, and there's more to come with his assistance that's coming down the road that we'll be announcing here pretty soon. And the other one is Warrior Catfish, Warrior Cat Rods. They gave us some tournament. They're a sponsor of ours. They gave us some tournament giveaways, some nice new rods. Everyone likes them. So, again, this is a startup tournament series, and these guys were on board right there right away. And they're very welcoming, and I appreciate those guys over there. They got a great product. I like them. That's what I'm using now. And so we'll be having those the next tournament giveaway too, and hopefully we keep working with them. And then my tax guy accountant, Santa Fe Taxing, Taxes and Income, Santa Fe Taxes and Accounting. He's also thrown in money for the next tournament. He's thrown in $100 into the pot for the guys fishing. He's a fisherman too, and he really targets small business guys with their finances and things like that with their books. So Santa Fe Taxes and Accounting, appreciate that. And that's what we got right now for sponsors. And again, Robert, I will be calling you. So I appreciate it. That's all I got, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Good deal.
Thank you so much for coming on here. And you just you can message Robert at crushermarine.com. I know that he'll be happy to get back with you. I promise you'll not talk to a pleasanter person. Very helpful. They become a big player in our sport in a short matter of time, and the world's going to see a lot more of these guys because they got a lot of stuff coming down the pipe, and he's affiliated with some other groups. So he's a super guy. You guys will be very happy to work together. I'm just quite sure of it. And again, Tim, thank you so much. I know it was short notice. Lori and Heather was supposed to be on the show tonight, and their computer took a fritz, and they went to have it fixed, and the guy didn't get it done in time. And this was the second shot at getting them on here, and something happened last time, similar to this or whatever. And we wanted to have a guest on because people was expecting to have a guest, so we wanted to make sure we got somebody on there. It was just you was available, and what a great show, because we got to tell the world about All American Catfish, and I think this time next year it's going to be a whole new game for you.
I think so, and it's a reflection on the catfish community. You guys have big names in the sport out here all the time, and then you got someone who's starting up a tournament, and you're giving them the same level of support. That's what's great about the catfish community, so we appreciate it.
You're very welcome, and keep us posted. Like I say, for something we can do to help you out, be sure and let us know.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Lyle.
All right, Tim. Thank you.
See you, Tim. Thanks.
Super guy. They got a great thing going on up there. Kansas City, that area is loaded with some giant blues, Doc. One of these days, you got to come out and fish the Missouri River. You just got to.
Oh, yeah.
You just got to do it. There's some great fishermen over there. I mean, tough. What do you say we knock out some of these tournament results, and let's switch off and on with them so I get time to go back to the inbox on Catfish Weekly and pull some of them up.
All righty. First,
you want to take off?
Yeah, I'll go and give what I've got. King Cat tournament out of Mount Vernon, Indiana this past weekend. First place, Scott Kress, Carl Crone, 91.16 pounds. This is the second year in a row that they have won this tournament. So second place, Aaron Wheatley, Rusty Morris, a.k.a. Frog Legs, 84.02 pounds. Yeah, because nobody knows him as Rusty. Everybody knows him as Frog Legs.
That's right.
They also had the Big Fish, which was a 31.62 pound blue. Third place, Carl Morris Jr., Rob Parsons, 78.04. Fourth place, Steve Foncher and Mike Greenwell, 74.60 pounds. And in fifth place, Chris Sodders and Nick, Conaway. I may have missed that one. I don't know. 72.38 pounds.
Pretty close weigh-in. I watched it live. Great event.
Yeah, me too. I was at work. That sucks when you're at work. And you
yeah, it's killer, man.
Oh, man, it just drives me crazy.
Let me shoot this one out. If you're done with that one.
Yep, go ahead.
Let me knock this one out, and then you can do another, and then I'll try to find the next one. Okay. North Carolina Cats, Baldwin, May 20th. They had 25 teams. A lot of nice fish was caught. They want to say thank you to their sponsor, Fish Bite Rod Holders, H&X Land Clearing, Highway 49 Sporting Goods. First place in Big Fish side pot was Evan Martin and Jeff King, and Jimmy Harper with 74.4 pounds with a Big Fish of 45.4. Paid $625. The Big Fish pot was $250, and the side pot was $500. So that turned out to be pretty nice.
Wow.
Second place, our old buddy Terrence Spring Sr. and Terrence Spring Jr. got 62 pounds, won them $375. And third place was Jason Robertson and Preston Robertson with 47.5 pounds, $250. And that is as far down as I can read stuff. So take off.
Madison Angler Tournament, Vive, Indiana. First, Neil and Joey, 80.6 pounds. They also had the Big Fish, which was a 39.6 pounds. Second, Johnson & Johnson, 46.2 pounds. Third, Stephen, Doug, and Linda, 31.2 pounds. This is my buddy Daryl Miller out of Madison, Indiana, that runs that tournament series there.
Cool beans.
Your turn.
The ICA, Indiana Catfish Association, the Flathead Bash results. First place, Bill Peabody, Ronnie Hall, and Tom Pedowskowski. I know I messed that up, Tom. I'm very sorry. 54 pounds. Petrowski. I knew that somebody would know, and I figured it was used kind of out in your area.
Yeah.
Second place, Travis Hamilton, Travis Selby, 46.5 pounds. Third place, Corey Peterson, Travis Yost, Nick Hand, 45.4 pounds. Fourth place, Jason Geary, Cage Dean, Don Elder, 40.5. Fifth place, Chaz Anderson, Travis Woodruff, 36.3 pounds. Sixth place was Terry Holding and MJ Wood, 34.9. Seventh place, Chris Wallace, our old buddy. Scott Wiseman, 30 pounds. Eighth place, Caleb Tyner and Richard Tyner, 33.2. Ninth place, Josh Vanover, Daniel Hagan, 29.4. And 10th place, Andy Williams and Reese Eubanks, 28.7.
Cat Chasers, Logan Lake here in Ohio. First place, Paul and Paul Bowman, 31.12 pounds. They also had the big fish, 31.12 pounds. So they only must have caught one flathead.
That's what I'm guessing.
And they won the tournament. So second, Ted and Joe Ackerman, 29.9 pounds. Third, Tom Long, Mike Wall, 27.2 pounds. Fourth, Bill Adams and Sean Buzzard, 22.4 pounds. And they also had a second big fish, which was 22.4 pounds. So they only caught one fish. But good one.
Nice. Yeah, it sure was.
So, and then you're back to you, Lyle.
The Central Texas Catfish Association. Lake Granger over the weekend, 24 boats. First place, John Dillard, Jerry Dillard, and Kyle Gilmeister with 5 fish stringer of 39.66 pounds. Second place went to Aaron Hagan, Chris Wilmot with 27.2 pounds. They also won big fish in the tournament with a 13.64 blue cat. Third place went to Roy Ewing, Jason Cummings with a 24.80 weigh-in, and their next tournament will be on October the 20th at Lake Belton. However, we are currently planning on a benefit tournament for one of our anglers. Garth Goodwin was recently electrocuted while working on a billboard and fell 10 to 14 foot to the ground. These doctors are saying he has very little chance to walk again, and they're asking for prayers for him and his family. So make sure that you include that in your prayer chains. If anyone would like to donate to the benefit tournament, they can send him a message. That's Jerry Dillard. And you can message him, and they greatly appreciate any help you get. Another worthwhile cause. I'm assuming that he worked on the billboards and fell. It's a crying shame. Get electrocuted and may or may not walk again. So if there's anything you can do to help Jerry Dillard out, they're going to do a benefit tournament. The gentleman's name again is Garth Goodwin, and we'd like to help them folks all we can.
JKV tournament is this Saturday, May 27th, Leavenworth, Indiana, 7 to 3 p.m., $60 entry fee. So that'll be this Saturday. We'll have the results on next Monday night here on Catfish Weekly.
Nice. The May 20th results from the Lake Springfield Catfish Series. First place went to Corey Rath and Andrew Sweet. Second place went to Chris Swain and Brady Swain. First place is 47.6 pounds. Second place is 42.9 pounds. They also took big fish honors with a 14-pound channel cat. It's a great channel cat for the lake. Third place went to Ryan Dodd and Wes Kaufman, 39.6 pounds. They want to thank everyone for showing up, and their next tournament will be June 17th, 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. That's Lake Springfield, Illinois Catfish Series.
That's all I got.
One more, Doc. Let me see if I can find this last one, and we'll try to get it up here. I went through here a while ago, and I surely must have missed it, but we'll try to. When I can't print them off, it makes it really hard for me to get them all in. But it is what it is. It was Southern Catfishing Club, and I can't find it right now. So it is what it is. I'm sorry, boys, but you guys, we will get them to us. You can either email them to me at catfishweeklytv@gmail.com, or you can send them to me. Try to type them out. That way I can copy them and print them. It's a lot easier for me to do it that way. And like I say, especially when we get a bunch of these things, we want to get as many of them as we can. And if you guys will get them to us, I promise you we'll announce them from there, because it's, that's what we do. We're catfishermen.
That's right.
That's it. Doc, I want to talk about our, well, sir.
Let's spin that wheel.
Well, we're not ready to sprint it, but we're going to do a survivor giveaway. We talked about that last night.
All right.
All the survivor names, and if I can do this, I'm going to try to do a screen share if I can remember how to do it. I don't know if I can, but did that happen to bring it up?
Yeah, I don't see nothing.
Well, of course not.
Yeah, we know you won't cheat.
I'm not going to. I have no reason.
I'll bring the polygrapher back in here next week.
But anywho, what we're going to do, it's called random.org. All the names of the people that sent messages to Catfish Weekly, his name is on there. Starts out with Dwayne Buckridge, who is one of our former winners, and Robert Naselroad, who is also a winner, and everybody in between. And what we're going to do is we're going to randomize it 3 times, and the name at the top of the page will be the winner. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. And the winner is Scott McGowan. You win a survivor unit from Robert at Pressure Marine. Yeah, Scott, send us a message at Catfish Weekly. And we will, Robert, or you can just message Robert directly. He'll ship it right out from the North Country up there where they still have cold weather, and get it to you. Thank you guys for playing along. Now, the other thing, Doc, is our wheel that you was asking me now. And there it is. It comes up on my page now.
I want to spin that wheel.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get to that. We're missing 1, 2, 3 spots. Now, we have 4 RigRap places, and we can use 3 of those if we get more sponsors. But we've got the Reaper hooks from Terminal Tackle. We've got RigRap. We have Catfish Now magazine is going to put a prize in for us. We have Whisker Wear Apparel. We've got High Speed Survivors. We have Whisker Sticks, a package, not just one, but a package of Whisker Sticks lightings. You guys will love those. Mad Catter hooks, tackle. Catfish Life, which is a product of Rob Clodfelder with Whisker Wear Apparel. The Reaper hooks. We also, this is a last minute thing. We didn't get it up on there. We're going to be giving away on our wheel 6 tickets to the 2018 Catfish Conference. Probably give them out 2 at a time, so we'll have 3 series, 3 different giveaways on there. So if you win them don't win them the first time, you still have chances to win 2 more. So thank the Catfish Conference and all them guys for doing that. We've got a couple more on there, but as soon as these colored wheels, so there's, with Catfish Conference on here, there's 1. That only leaves 2 more spots. This will be filled next week, and that would leave us 3. So we actually can do 5 more. And what we're going to do is, you guys need to send us a message on Catfish Weekly that you want to spin. You want your name. You want a chance to win the spin of the wheel, or however you want to word it. I don't care. And next week we're going to spin that wheel, and you might win a package of rig wraps. You might win a package of hooks from Terminal Tackle, Hooker's Terminal Tackle, and it may be Reapers. You might hit the others over here, the Mad Catter hooks. You might hit the Whisker Sticks. You might win a Survivor. You might win some shirts or hoodies or hats from Rob Clodfelder. You might win some rig wraps. There's a bunch of stuff. There's going to be more. And as things go away, there'll be new things added. We was really close to filling it up the first week. I was really impressed that we got all those places filled. And I talked to Hervé late this afternoon. And like I say, just didn't have time to get his deal printed up and get it on here. And as these prizes go away, new ones will be coming in. And there's going to be in line down the road, there's going to be some really big prizes coming up. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But next Monday night, we're spinning the wheel. And we're going to have Aaron Wheatley on here. We're going to be talking Monsters on the Ohio. We're going to give away the Monsters on the Ohio number 100 spot in the tournament. You don't want to miss that show. I mean, it's Aaron Wheatley. Is there anybody in the world more full of it than Aaron? I mean, yeah. We're going to have a lot of fun. He's got a lot of information for us. It's a big show. It's a great event to attend. And Aaron's going to help us. We're going to pull out the winner. We'll do the random.org thing on it. If you're not entered in it, you must be entered before the show starts next week, because once the show starts, I don't have time, Doc don't have time to go back and try to get you on the list. Once the show starts, it's over. So if you want a chance to win spot 100 at Monsters on the Ohio, make sure you get in the drawing. And we're going to draw for that next week. And Aaron's supposed to be on here with us unless something comes up. And believe me, it does happen once in a while. It doesn't happen all the time. But we're going to have a lot of fun with Aaron Wheatley on here. We always do. We'll get some information, that things that we don't know about. I'm sure he will. And we'll go over some of the stuff. And if there's any rules, if you got any questions, if you have a question about Monsters on the Ohio, just like last week when we had George on here, Mississippi River Monsters, if you got questions, them's the guys to ask. Get them questions ready for Aaron. Try to pin him down. See if you can stun him. Ask him something he can't answer. I dare you. You know, it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to have fun with Aaron. We always do. Right now, what we got is Doc's Tip of the Week.
And Doc's Tip of the Week is planer boards and the use of the whisker sticks, LED lights. Most people like them. Most people like them up. I like to lay them down and also on the front of the board. So this is my board that I'm using. And all I do is take black electrical tape and run it around there just like they do on the alligator hunters, where they take the electrical tape and tie their mouth down. I tie the whisker sticks on here. They're great when it's cloudy, when it's pitch dark at night. Let me give you another tip. If you run a green one on one side of the boat and a red one on the other side of the boat, people think you got a 60-foot boat, and they will get out of your way. They will not even come close to your boat. So keep that in mind. That is a trick that Doc has used to clear a path down when I am fishing with planer boards at night. So that's Doc's tip for the night.
That's a great tip, and those lights, yeah, they're amazing. I mean,
they're bright.
They are amazing.
I plugged this one in tonight. It's got 550 hours of running time. So, what I do if I'm going to use my planer board during the day or even at night, I just go on ahead and wrap them up, get them on there, and they're ready to go.
Just slip the battery to them. I don't know where Tim come up with that idea for those lights, but it's a great product. They're inexpensive, and we're going to give some away.
Yep.
You can't beat a deal like that. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the show tonight. I know Jock and I had a blast. We're going to be doing some stuff next week with Aaron Wheatley that I know that you're going to enjoy. Next week we're going to spin the RigRap Prize wheel. I'm going to tell you, that RigRap Prize wheel 3 times real quick, so it'll get you, Doc.
Yeah.
It really will. But be sure to tune in next Monday night for Aaron Wheatley. We got a bunch of other guests lined up. We got one open date for June. So we got things going on.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks a bunch. And we'll see you next Monday night on Catfish Weekly.